Hi, blessings, everyone. Today is, just checking the date here, it's the 19th of February, Tuesday, and we're in the full moon. And the energies have really been intensifying over the past 2 weeks. So just making a little video today and a message about the energies. So I'm just tuning in here and really connecting with this message that's coming through for the highest good of all. So what is coming through is our perception is changing in terms of our light. The light that we're perceiving is a blessing from the higher source energies, and there's really a connection there with the reality of light and living a life of light. Within that, how we perceive life becomes freer. So we're actually seeing life from a very widescreen angle, I would call it, where the focus is actually on humanity and the big picture, where we're connecting through one source. So we're actually seeing life from a very wide angle perspective. It's a place of wisdom, fully embodying ourselves as this presence that we are, and this being of light who has, in many ways, it's really about the gifts that we offer life that come through us. These processes that we're in that are extremely intense. If you're experiencing this, there's a very deep DNA shift happening, and the light of who we are is actually expressing our unique gifts through our presence. So if you're feeling really unhappy or just feeling, oh, this is too much, then I just want to say to you that whatever it is that is intense is actually becoming light, and that light is a gift that you share in your presence. So others are able to really feel that awareness while you're around in their field. There's a sense also of this deep unity and this place in the heart which contains the higher self and the wisdom and the beauty also inside the heart. It's also expanding, and it can feel like your heart is breaking wide open. Communication is difficult because we're communicating on different levels, and we're seeing life from a very different perspective. Each of us is becoming more and more unique and more individual, so our own uniqueness and our own perception from there is allowing the blessings of this divine soul inside to come through, where we are able to see life in our own authentic way. And therefore, if we come across difficulty in communication, it's because our vibration's changing, and therefore trying to communicate what we're feeling, or just communicate on a general basis. We're coming from a very different place from how we used to communicate. Also, seeing each other. For example, if you're communicating with one person, we're seeing each other through a place of possibly of separation at the moment, because everything that we're experiencing is feeling that it's leaving us. There's a sense of loss also in the body. So the cells in the body might feel as if they're grieving or they're emotional, and you don't know where that's coming from. It's actually, again, it's the light that's coming through, and it's really amping up the body and the body's vibration. There's also a deep sense of awareness within this, and the awareness is the part of us that really carries this beauty of being able to see each other through a space of deep love for one another, and this deep love for humanity as a whole, because there is a realization within that we are one, even though we might not be able to communicate. It's interesting. I've always been very aware of humanity and of individuals and their uniqueness. It's been with me my whole life. And I really love that. And I love to meet people from other cultures who very often they don't speak English. And I feel that's a real gift, because we're able to find ways of communicating that are quite amusing as well. And therefore, it's a place of real, I feel that's really connecting through a space of purity. So in a way, it's real, and it's more real than speaking to each other verbally. But having that perception doesn't always, at the present time, it doesn't always work with me. I'm finding that I'm being very quiet. I'm observing and I'm watching. And if I have the opportunity to speak, I'm not always able to fully connect with the person that I'm speaking to in the way of understanding, like I used to be able to. The flow of life is changing and flowing and harmonizing when we're communicating, particularly through the heart, is important, because then we really are in a space of oneness. So if you take a breath and really step into your heart and ask your heart to connect with the heart of the other person, and just really give it a moment to resonate, you might find that the energy has changed and that you're able to get the balance there between the two of you. But it seems to be a biggie at the moment, as we're all stepping into our authentic selves. There's also a beauty in there which is very much to do with our origins and our it's our it's our authentic source. It bypasses the family we were born into, and it's actually a place of what I would call the ancient source. It's our ancient roots in the earth that are coming through. And these ancient roots are really connecting through the higher self and allowing us to see life from a place of deep awareness there and being fully aligned with that which is what I would call source energy. It's a place of light also. The cellular energy in the body is connecting in with these ancient roots. And you may be more aware of this through finding that you're drawn towards ancient energies and wanting to explore more of these energies. And it's all a part of who you are in terms of not just your interest, but also your authenticity. So it's really, really powerful. I'm living in a place just now where there's lots of different cultures, and I really love it. And I'm finding that because I've always resonated with cultures that are tribal, I would call it, and very much resonate with cultures that are where there's been separation, and it still exists in some places where there's a feeling of deep love there. So, for example, the African communities, I've always had a connection with the sounds of Africa and the people there, and I see the beauty very much in their spirit, where we have a connection through spirit, and it's in the movement and the rhythm and this vibration that comes from their nature and their spirit and the land that they came from, and they're deeply connected with their ancestors, and there's a sense of connection there that I always feel like they're family. So it's quite special for me to be able to feel that energy around each day, and to be living in a community where there's lots of different races and different cultures, and it's quite small as well. It's fascinating. It's like a little village. It's full of different energies and many different cultures all merging and coming together and mixing in harmony. So in terms of the shift that we're experiencing and this light that is amping up both on the planet and inside ourselves, we're able to really feel the heart there and this illusion that we've lived in throughout our lives. Who's the person that we believed that we are, or that we felt that we were, particularly in our younger years. There's seems to be a twofold experience where there's a feeling of being deeply connected with the blood family, but there's also a very deep connection with ourselves through these ancient sources and our own authenticity. And it's where these energies meet that and are blessed, because I can feel the blessings coming through. It's quite something on a body level and on the crystalline level. As the crystalline energy is coming through the body, it's very much a feeling of awakening in the moment, where the energies literally in the bones in the body will just suddenly feel like they're moving, and there's some cellular memory coming through, and the memory will be connected with the opening and the movement of the cellular and the bone structure, because I can feel that the bones are changing. So more light coming through in our structure. There's also a sense of excuse me, just going to have a drink here. Yeah, there's a sense of deep awareness happening inside that is this feeling of fullness. When you feel like this, you don't feel you want to eat, or you don't really feel any need for anything, because you feel very satisfied. And I would say that this is a very primal energy that is connected with our source and our real authenticity, and in terms of how we are able to taste life. And we can feel that the cellular energy and the change within is actually feeding us, and it's feeding us and satisfying the human self, the person that's really feeling the change happening within. And it's interesting to watch, because that can change also. There's a need to recognize that all of this change that's happening through this shift in our consciousness is bringing us into the recognition of who we are. And when I say that, it's like living in a movie theater, or there's a feeling of living in the movie. You might be feeling that you're living in a multi-screen movie as you become more multi-dimensional, and this sense of drifting, also just kind of drifting along. I wouldn't say this was a flowing energy. This is just a feeling of, it's like very dreamlike, like we're living in a dreamlike state as the consciousness has shifted, and being able to see life through a place that feels very expanded. So everything is very open. The small things don't matter anymore. So I feel it's great, but it's not a place to really focus on in terms of your needs. It's a place to really be with, so you can be in your beingness and feel the expansion as a place that feels like we're in a deep meditation, and that we're actually walking in this space of light through this deep awareness of life. So the shift and the body and the crystalline energy, the bones, our bone structures, all becoming one. And as we process more and more of these energies that are coming through, there's a feeling of being lifted and really living in the light of ourselves. It's also a place of being connected with the messengers of light, I would call it. I feel very connected with the masters through these energies, and they walk the earth with me. And I've been talking about this for years because I do see that these light sources and what would have been an ascension source or the ascended master, they're actually with us on the earth. And we're actually living in a place that feels, it can feel very connected with the angels and the angelic realms. Mother Earth is a living source of being. So you can see that the earth is speaking more loudly. The elementals and these amazing wisdom keepers that come through in the earth, if you spend time in nature and listen, you'll hear the vibration and the sounds and the messages that come through from these amazing sources, and you might be able to see them. When I walk in nature, I tend to see the gateways, and it's like walking in a cathedral of light in amongst the trees, and there's a sense of the trees communicating with each other, and we can really feel that deep connection, like music. It feels like the vibration is, and the sound is vibrating and resonating with you when you're in that space of nature, abundance, and the etheric. So there's this sense of light coming through, and it can really allow you to feel the fullness of yourself with everything that is fully open in our natural sense. And nature and Mother Earth comes in to meet us in this place. So it's amazing. Anyway, we're in the full moon today, and I'm just sending a blessing through for full moon day today. The moon is very open, and there's a purity that I see coming through in this full moon. I feel this month of February is a month of deep change in terms of how we relate to life. There's something happening with this month, which is usually a month that the calendar month of February is it's a shorter month. But there's something happening that I sense in terms of our timelessness and our need to be in the infinite that I feel is coming through this month. So it can feel very spacey, and you might feel that you want to just be in the energy where you can really enjoy this sense of spaciousness and not really even want to do anything, or you might sleep. But the energies are they're very floaty, and there is a sense of being being more free within that. And I feel this is coming through this month, and with this full moon that we're experiencing, that we're feeling this blessing of the light and the freedom of who we are, and this kind of dreamy state that I'm speaking of. So it's beautiful, but anyway, it has been very intense over the past couple of weeks, and the past few days we're really feeling this change happening inside the cells in the body, as there is more and more programming that's moving out, and we're less limited as we go through these processes. So being aware that limitation is is part of the human form, and everything that we've experienced through our state of being human is releasing, and we're we're really moving through. So congratulations to everyone that's experiencing this, just for being here. My goodness, it's really powerful. My computer's not working very well, as you might see. It's kind of shaky, and I'm hoping that I can get my other computer up and running over the next few days. So I'll be able to make better videos. But anyway, I wanted to share that message today. So I'm just sending lots of love through, and and a blessing for the full moon, and just a thumbs up to everyone. We're doing well here, really doing well. So I'll speak to you soon. Namaste.